So that the failure is a big thing, man. Actually, failure is the biggest teacher of life, man. And you know what's crazy? If you don't learn from what you failed, it keep coming back and create a pain. And these two are the teacher disguised, so they will come and teach you the lesson. So you will suffer until you figure out how to improve yourself. And then the
Wow.
teacher goes away, and different teacher comes in. Now different teacher, different kind of pain, different kind of lesson.
Yo, 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 what up? This is Streetwise. I am your host, Matthew McReynolds. Today, I have a special guest, Jason Liu, the CEO of NSW Electrical, the crazy electrician, crazy about quality and service. First one from his trade school to start his own business, which I think is awesome, first of all. Second, he claims to have gotten his wife through his excellent handyman skills. And I think that's cool too, because I'm not a natural handyman. So I wanted to start out and welcome you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. What did I miss, man?
Thank you for inviting me. I really feel honored and very happy to be here. So, I mean, I have a different layers of being, so it probably take 5 hours to explain everything. But I'll tell you some fun fact. You mentioned how I got my wife to handyman. So there was a strategic plan to get married. My wife when I first met her. So what's cool? What's so interesting about it is I met my wife through my mother-in-law, and she was kind of like an accountant slash bookkeeper, very sharp on the money, and I was the fun guy that like to do fun things, and I spend all my money just I don't have any save up. And so in the beginning of my mind, I said, damn, I want to marry her, but I don't got money, man. This is the worst thing you can do. Try to marry an accountant's daughter with no money in the bank. It's like you try to buy a house with nothing, man. It's like almost impossible. But I was like, man, I gotta figure what kind of resource I got, right? So I started thinking, man, I'm handy, man. I could fix a computer, I could fix cars,
Nice.
it's a lot of things. So I start buddy with my mother-in-law, right? So my mother-in-law start inviting me to like fix minor stuff, computer, printer, the networking, and slowly she want to buy a used car. She don't have to look out for a deal. So I start saying, yeah, I know about a lot of cars. Let me help you out. So I start doing secret dating with my wife for almost 5 years. And man, my love
Nice.
story is crazy, man. I used to sneak into my wife's house 12 o'clock at night by her window. She'd jump down and catch her, and we go hang out at night. And I bring her back before 6 a.m. before her father wakes up in the morning. I bump her back up in the window and things. And the neighbor saw that crap, man. But not many people know about the love story, but that's what it is. I got my wife, and so 3 4 years later, I save up my brownie point. I've been fixing stuff for free, right, from my mother-in-law. So at the end, I was like, hey, mama, I got good news and bad news. What's the good news, huh? The good news, I'm gonna keep fixing everything for free for life. I said, what? What's the bad news then? I'm gonna marry your daughter. So she was like, oh crap, She was self struggling for quite a long time because my wife's the only daughter, man. So it's like a treasure to her. She don't want to let my wife go. It's like she felt like I'm gonna take her daughter away. I guess I
She could
understand most of the parents felt like that.
She couldn't have been that surprised. She had to have seen this coming. I mean, you're over there offering your services. She had to know what you were up to.
When certain people have selective of understanding, right? I think she just wanted to believe Jason's a good guy, my good coworker. He's just here to help me out. 3 years straight, 3 years straight in a row, and happen to have a lot of family dinner with me, but no big deal. But yeah, man, Matthew, if you're my father-in-law, you know it's coming. You know it's coming on probably on the second month. But Jesus show up so
Oh,
often,
absolutely. Oh, that's
man.
hilarious. So, how long did the dating wooing process before you guys got married, and how long have you been married now?
Oh man, I think almost 6 or 7 years now. So I was dating her 5 years. So wow, it's almost 12 years with her. Man,
Wow. Any
that thing
kids?
fell
You
off.
guys have kids? How many kids do y'all have?
Man, two animals. My daughter's super mature, the sweet lady. Is awesome. I love her to death. My son is kind of like me, man. Just a joker, storyteller, and the 20%, 80% rule for the company, 20% make the performance and sales for 80%. So my same thing like my family. My son gave me 80% of work, my daughter gave me 20% of work. So God still likes me, man. Thank God. Otherwise, if both of them are 80%, I'll be dead.
God builds it like that on purpose. He knows what we're capable of.
Yeah,
That's
he abused me really well with our first child. So second child's my daughter, so things got a lot better. So I still have faith and believe in life, and I'm still optimistic.
that's good, man. That's good. What are the age ranges?
My daughter is 1.5. My son's 3.5.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
so
you are in
yeah,
the
they
heat.
fight each other and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so my son is almost 3, and
Oh
my
wow.
daughter is almost 1. So
Oh,
around that same, and then I've got the
yeah,
5-year-old that,
yeah, yeah. Let them consume each other, and then we could like relax and stuff.
yeah, let just put him in a room, just let him go, and then we can go kick
Like
it.
go in there, close the door, put a lock on it, and then come back 5 hours later, give them some dinner, happy, happy.
Yeah, play some loud music, and everything's good. No,
Yeah,
that's
that's how
funny,
it is.
man. That's crazy. Kids are a trip. I'm curious. So, as we were talking before, that the first one from your trade school to start a business, your own business. So, what
Yeah.
was the process like of first deciding that you wanted to go to trade school and then sticking it out and then being the first one to transition to start their own business? Tell me about your journey as
Oh
you
wow.
went into that and to where you are
Yeah.
now.
Version. So I was always a problem solver, very handy on my hand. And the reason I went back to trade school was I have a decent job doing like sales and consulting for restaurant equipment, right? But then after a while, my father passed away at a pretty early age for his age. So I started having a midlife crisis. Like, man, I don't, I want something more fulfilling and challenging in life. I want to be like, want to accomplish a life in a higher level. So I start getting the midlife crisis so early. I said, man, I got to do something that's more challenging, more with more accomplishment and rewarding. So I was thinking, man, and my father's very good in it with his hands, who is a really good mechanic. So I was like, maybe I should go with a trade, but like a high level, right? That require high level skill. So I've been brainstorming almost 3 months, and then I was like, man, I think electrical would do well because you do it right, people pay you a lot. You do it wrong, you die. And then, yeah, so I went to talk to I went to talk to a friend. He's an electrician, always dressed clean, drive nice car. I told him, well, hey, which school you recommend me to? He was like, oh, go to electrical training center in Kobe. So I just signed up for it, man. Sign up, go into class, and I was a really good student, obviously, because I was an older age compared to other kids. The other kids was out of high school or college, so they have a mentality trying out, playing around. Mine is very different. My mind I say I want to master trade, but be the best of it. So I really pay a lot of attention in class, and I was the top student in the class, along with a couple other kids, and I did pretty good. And at the same time, I also do a lot of side work, fixing a lot of things, being handyman. And as soon as I get out from the class, I get a internship. Right, work for electrical contractor. And my journey is really interesting. I work for a field. So first one was a really bad team, bad company, but I learned a lot what not to do. So and then
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and I learned so much because there was a 20-year experience, very experienced electrician working with me. I'm his helper, but he doesn't respect me. He just want me hanging screwdriver, no big deal. But I pay a lot of attention on the detail and stuff. And then what's crazy, man, Matthew, I gotta tell you, like maybe a month into the work, we show up at the job site to get a customer's house. I know this customer want to talk to me rather than that 20-year experienced guy because he dressed sloppy. He used a multi screwdriver for everything. I was like, even though skillful, I got to admit it, but his impression was bad. I started noticing. So
Mm,
all the customers want to talk to me. So I said, man, I gotta have something, better than this guy now. So now my part missing is my skills. So I start paying a lot of attention what he does and stuff, learn on the side and do on my own
wow.
afterwards. And then after a while, it didn't work well. And then I worked for another guy that's a true professional. So I start learning the right work habit, the way how a professional would look like, dress like, work like very logical when he troubleshoot. So I learned so much, man. So that's what the two companies really built me up. And after a while, I felt like, man, I learned enough already. So I started doing a lot of side work, like doing simple stuff, outlets, fixtures, ceiling fans, and I just accumulate my experience. After a while, I felt like I'm gonna go on my own. So I start just, telling people around me and try to meet friends around, just do some small side work and then start building up. And then at the point I start forming my own LLC, and then I got hooked up with a lighting company, started doing a lot of contract work for them. So I kind of took off, and then from that point, that's where when I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I changed my whole life
Great book.
habit. Yeah, yeah. Try to from a guy having instant gratification, just have fun. I stopped thinking about life, how to be the better and plan for better. So yeah, so from that point, I started changing. I started going into Bob Proctor, T. Hop Acker, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, all the self development guru, learning a lot on the spiritual perspective, and that what makes me stand out because I under the spiritual side of things. So everything comes easy and smooth with the way how I talk to customer. It just help on sales so much. So I basically build the business from word of mouth because people just like dealing with me. I give them a very comfortable feeling. I didn't know what was that. I kind of just practiced, like, have passion for everyone. But now I go deep into it, study the psychology, the back end, the strategy, everything, talking, the hand gesture, and all that stuff. So I kind of have a very good idea how to bond and communicate and be selling globally, like where you affecting people's belief, not forcing your belief into people. That's a big thing. And with the passion on the side, when you're positive and happy, optimistic, people want to do business with you, man. Also, if you feel
Absolutely.
abundant, that's a big thing, man. So I become the person, man. I think about that, what you want to become, and that person will bring you to what you want to achieve. So I work very hard on myself. Like Jim Rohn said, he used to say, work hard on yourself, not on the job. And it took me a few years to figure out what he didn't give me instruction, right? So I was like, what the hell is the whole thing? Work hard on myself. So now I understand. And you ever heard of a story called Acre of Diamonds? Yeah, yeah. I give the listeners it's an awesome story. Changed my life. So super short story. You talk about old time African farmer have a diamond fetish about finding diamond, get super rich overnight. So he has a huge farm. He don't want a farm, right? He just want to get rich. So he sold the farm to a young man. He traveled around the world trying to find the ideal diamond to get rich. At the end, obviously, he couldn't find any. He died from grudge and disappointment. So the young man took over his farm for working so hard, farming, making the crops and stuff, start getting to resell. And one day that man was chilling with his buddy at his little barn, shed, whatever, and has a mental by the fireplace. So his friend just hanging around, nothing to do, and start messing around with everything and found this little rock on the mantle. I said, man, this thing kind of look interesting. Where did you find these from? He said, well, I was farming in the back. I got a lot of these whole acres. So the friend was like, keep studying. He's like, dude, I think this is a rough form of diamond, bro. You're up to something big. And it was the true story. So it's called Acre of Diamond. So basically, he becomes super rich. He has a whole acre of diamond in his backyard that he worked so hard farming, digging deep into it, and found his true diamond. So the metaphor hits me really hard when I struggle in life trying to build business. I was like, wow, that is the everyone want these diamonds, right? But nobody knows. We keep chasing outside, chasing high paid job, chasing for material, chasing
Wow.
opportunity. But it was everything was all along inside. You had to develop. And then I read another thing from another coach. It was so simple. It turned my life around. So he was basically told you, man, whatever you want to do, right? More sales, more jobs, right? That goal you set up, and you take a piece of paper, write it down. On the other side, you write down what's your diamond, what are you good at, what's your talent. So you start listing it down, but it's a really good mind brain exercise. It actually opens your mind up to discover your talent and your ability. So the more you list, the more faster your brain works and more ability you gain because you start acknowledging yourself have this ability. So you list out all these, and now it's clear, right? What you want to do. This is what I have, and you just draw the line. And say, what can I do in the middle to bridge that gap? So in the beginning, I try to get my name out. Nobody knows who's Jason Louis. He's gonna do really good work, right? So man, I gotta figure out how to bring myself the attention and reputation to the network circle. So my typical soundbite didn't work well for the first 3 months. I just say, my name is Jason Lu. I do electrical for residential, commercial. Nah, it's not getting much result. Kind of like when you tell people you do insurance. So I start getting so creative, saying, "Wow, I was always a funny guy, man. Let me think of something funny related to electrical, and then I'll tie them together. And then when I do my soundbite and my commercial, people will remember. So you gotta remember, like I study a lot about psychology. People don't remember what you do. They do remember what you make them feel. So if I could make them feel positive, happy, they could remember you. That will open the channels, opportunity for them to remember you and ask you for certain questions, and that will trigger to the job opportunity. That's my strategy. It's working so well. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And I remember the first time I saw you in the McKinney Master Networks chapter, and you stood up to give your soundbite. And I have no idea what you said, but I had a coworker with me, and we both were rolling laughing because everybody in those rooms, they're all so stiff. They're so
Yeah,
stiff and
man.
it can get awkward. And some of the rooms are a lot of fun. You've got great people, obviously, in a lot of these networking events, and networking in and of itself is super important. But
Right.
I mean, when you hit it, and after that, it was, well, I immediately got to go talk to this guy. Not that I necessarily need your service in the moment, but I just want to introduce myself and have you in my circle because I liked your energy and I liked what you were putting out. And it's crazy because on my way to get there, I got intercepted and was talking to some other people. And then you came over to me and we were able to connect and have a conversation about something not even, you actually, you know what you did? In the very first conversation, we talked about our kids and the movie Ip Man. And I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
how it came up, but do you remember this? Am I
Yeah,
just
I
spitting
remember.
crazy
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now? You
You know
remember?
what is crazy, Matthew? Because I could feel people's energy feel. So you feel nice. You have a fresh because you work out, I guess. But obviously, I couldn't tell. But when you first start speaking and talking, the way how you carry yourself, I said, man, this is a nice guy. I could feel already. I felt a good level of sincerity. So that is the coolest thing where you have that feeling about people. I'm pretty precise about things. That's why I would like to talk to you, man. Just to get to know you, man. Because you give me good feeling, and that is what you need when you interact with people. If I like you, hey, if I need anything that in your field, I definitely come to you first, because I like you. Just simple as that. So that's why
So
I'm
it's
working wherever you are. That's the art for that too. Yeah. Okay, if you see me in my sound bite, right? Have you noticed that my hands always out here? Like a lot of time, you see my hands
you're
more in
very
the
good
front.
with your inflection and the way that you move helps your delivery. But I haven't thought about your intentionality
I
with
did
it.
I did on purpose, man. I read a mind blowing research from a lady, right? She did a TED. She was in TED Talk. She talked about two expert, super expert in the field. One only get like 100 views, the other got million views. So she studied what the hell wrong with two guys. They both are genius in their field. What makes them suck? Like one's so good, one the other one suck. So she analyzed everything, body's gesture and all that. So he find out one of the biggest thing was his body's gesture when he talked. His hand was like down and sometimes in pocket or behind, and that is a bad sign because in psychology back in caveman time, if your friend your hands always out. You give a hug, shake hands. An enemy always hide weapons, and that
Wow.
psychology goes so deep into modern business world. So the more body space you could consume, people see you clearly, the more they will accept you in subconscious level to consider you as a friend. Now, the more
Wow.
hands in the pocket, fishy one, or twitching or bad energy, they will see as an enemy. They don't even know. You don't even know. You just have a weird feeling. So this is what I study. So that's why I always try to put my hands out, open as much as I could, just to get that openness. And that got a lot of feedback say, oh, because you do it. No, they don't analyze you, but they felt like, oh, you're very friendly, like very easy to approach. They have that feeling because that's
They
why,
see
man.
it without, yeah, they see it and
Without
they understand
realizing
it
it. So
without
that's why
even
I asked a
realizing
lot
it.
of things. Yeah, I started studying. I'll share more, like, after the interview with you. I mean, that's the Van Edward. That's the lady. She teach a lot of stuff about these things. Yeah,
Amazing,
really.
man. One of our customers, back, I mean, maybe it was a couple summers ago, and I was picking up for one of my technicians and working a route, and he was a Green Beret, and he
Oh,
starts talking to me about, we're just having a conversation, and he starts talking to me about body language, and he went deep into foot positioning, and I mean, he was a great guy, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. But after about 45 minutes in my mind, I'm like, I got like 16 more houses I gotta go hit. Like we gotta go. And he called me out and he said, and see, this is what we're talking about. Cause you see your feet right now, how you're looking at me directly, but your feet are pointed towards
yeah,
your
yeah. I know.
van. And I was standing directly at him, but my feet were angled towards my
Those are
truck. And he says, I'm going to go ahead and in the convo, let me know when you're done doing your treatment, but I can tell based on your feet. And so when you're analyzing people and where you're talking, you can see where somebody's attention is and their purpose, just how they're structuring themselves. So there's so much to it, man. And I think it's really cool that you've obviously done your due diligence and studied. Do you think that the ability to read people's energy is that a strength that you have? Is that a gift? Do you think that most people are able to do that if they work on it?
Oh yes, I think it's half and half. So you're born with a base level, like how you play basketball, right? You come with whatever talent you have, and then the rest relies on your practice. So I have some in me. I noticed that, and then I start practicing it. So I didn't have a super like a detailed instruction on teach you how to do it because I kind of did it based on feelings. So um, let me try to think what will be something easy to show you. Yeah, so you could work on that. So what it is that when you talk to people face to face, right? So instead of listening to the content where they talk about their day and stuff, you could start paying attention on the facial expression, how they look. Do they look tired? Do they look like something bothers their mind? How's their body act like? Do they look nervous? They're constantly moving around and they're super calm. That would give you a good sense of like feeling about this person. What kind of emotional state they are in. And but for me, it's slightly easy because I normally see people at their house. So by looking at what's around them, if the house messy, what they have around, I have a pretty good judgment of what's their life background story and what are they up to at that point. So so that makes myself easy to communicate. I'll start figuring out what topic to talk about with them. If yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man, you have to blend in, right? Let's say you saw a person like to complain, right? Complainer type, find problems. So you kind of want to go along, but like don't dive in the negative energy. You'll be like, yeah, I felt your pain, man. I start listing out the client problem that he has and what struggle it goes through. So I start bonding really well. But then I don't go there. And sometimes I turn it around and say, you know what, man? I think a lot of people got this nasty attitude. I totally feel your pain, but I have sympathy for them. I think it's just something trouble in their life. So I always come up with good excuse for these people to justify the action. And they not. I will tell them, say, I don't think it's personal. They don't want to be nasty to you. It's just that they go through a hard time in life. So any people will probably do it. He don't meant to give you a bad attitude or a bad look. It's just the way how he's going to do in life. So if you have that sympathy and passion for people, you become non-judgmental. When you do that, people also felt that in the energy level. So you become the good guy, basically, and he will tend to like you more. That's what it is. Yeah.
Where do you find most people get stuck? We're talking about spiritual energy, mindset, perspective. Where do most people get stuck?
Oh man, I love that question. So the number one thing I figure out is the lack of awareness, man. Matthew, lack of awareness. So let's say you talk to a guy not happy, he just don't have the awareness of how to make himself happy. He don't have the awareness what's causing these problems. But if you start thinking about questioning yourself, a lot of time you could start unfolding the secret about things, and then when you unfold the secret, you free your life an obstacle. But a lot of time it takes time because you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's hard. Sometimes your friends, your wife will point out to you, "Hey, what's wrong with you? You seem like you're in a bad mood, or you're not yourself lately, you know." So they will help you out. So a lot of time, man, I would totally recommend. Like I spend a lot of time alone, especially driving. I don't listen to radio. I don't listen to music much. I spend a lot of time thinking about different things, thinking about how to make a job better, thinking about it, like the talk we just had with a client and my friends, thinking about, man, how am I? What's my energy level today? What do I want to accomplish? Do I let any negative thought like put me like I remember you talk about you have a lot of self doubt in yourself sometimes. You worry about what people think and stuff. So I don't think about too much like that. I kind of see what they come from and try to just dissolve it. So a lot of things come from awareness, man. Awareness definitely is number one. If we work for awareness, you'll be surprised. You have a lot of breakthrough and figure out a lot of things in life. You have these light bulbs. Like, oh, that's why. You know.
No,
So
that's good, man. Yeah, because if you can't, that's tough because if you don't have the awareness to even be able to acknowledge that you actually have blind spots, it's
and
really
how you gonna
hard.
work on it. That's why you need a
Yeah.
mentor or a good friend to point out, give you some point to say, hey, I think you should work on this and that. So, but
Hmm.
most people they don't point it out to you. They don't want to be offensive or anything, right? So they probably keep their mouth shut if even they see something it's not right. But I try to be the cool guy. I'll bring it down to a level where it's acceptable. Let's say in our network meeting, a lot of people when they talk in soundbite, they put their hand in the pocket. Remember I told you, man, that's killing your view time, and like you're not gonna get much connection. So those people, I will try to be sincere with them, say, hey, man, I really like what you talk about in soundbite, but I think you're gonna do a lot better the next time. You just let your hands out and have a more friendly posture. Some people take it, some people don't, but I always try to help people out.
Oh, that's huge, man. I mean, I just think about, say you're eating a meal with somebody, or you walk into one of these meetings and you talk to somebody, or maybe it's you and you just got a big piece of spinach just
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your teeth, but nobody wants to say anything to you because they feel uncomfortable calling you out. But wouldn't you want somebody to tell you and pull you
exactly, man.
aside?
You know?
Yeah, you question everybody's integrity because it's the ultimate form of kindness to be able to, I'm willing to be uncomfortable and I'm willing to make you a little bit uncomfortable because I see a greater good here
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I can
but
help
not
you.
so like yeah. Some people you gotta be careful too. Like if you have understanding their character, like some people find it offensive. It's like they start being judgmental. Say, who the hell are you telling me like what's good or not? Oh, you think you're better than me now? Now you're coaching me, huh? Sometimes people think like you just have to be careful. So that's why I always try to go really easy, to when I talk about that and say, hey, you do this wrong.
Yeah, and most people don't have the right approach. You really have to go in with the right spirit. How would you How can somebody coach themselves in being more aware? I know you said having a mentor, and that's huge. And I definitely want to go into the mentorship conversation here in a little bit. But are there other ways to? Everybody's got to improve in their level of awareness, right? I at least I can
That's what
acknowledge that I have unknown unknown. So there's so many things in my personality that I realize that I do that probably ignore people that I'm not aware of yet. But even becoming aware of that is a first step. But some people are just
yeah.
so stuck. So how do you give a person that push to start to understand and see things at a higher level?
Okay, so that's come from a slightly curiosity and self motivations. For those beginner, I always would recommend you read something like there's a guy named Bob Proctor. So basically, this guy he was interesting, man. he has a cleaning business and he becomes super successful. He didn't know what happened. So later on, he spent the next 10 years figuring out what he did make himself successful. So he started teaching a lot of concepts about the laws of the universe. So these are very kind of like simple stuff. You find it makes sense, but you start paying a lot of attention to it. Everything makes sense in a deep level, and you could apply into your business, personal. That's where you start seeing a breakthrough. I'll give you a quick example, right? So he talked about law of sacrifice. So he's like, what does that mean? It means you're willing to sacrifice something lower in nature to attain something high in nature. So how is
Wow.
applied in the business life? So that hits me really hard. I was like, man, I gotta sacrifice my low income job. Like let's say I'm doing some job I don't get paid too much. I have to let it go. I gotta stop taking the phone call, stop taking, and I'm gonna market toward the money making job certificate that the higher profit margin job. But it's so hard to let it go because that used to be my bread and butter. You kind of kept doing that in your whole life. So now you got awareness like I gotta cut this down, gotta cut this down. Just focus on the higher end clients. So that's one of the concepts he talks about and the law of giving. Like don't expect to receive anything if you don't give out anything. You're always gonna give out first. That's how the universe works, man. Don't question the law of universe that you will not win against it because you're living in the system. You still have to know how it works. So you always want to be a generous person first, caring person first, the nice person first, the polite person first, the one give out more help first. And then you receive whatever you seek in the different channels. I learned it in the very deep level. I study people. That's a guy named Chris Parrish. That's the roofing. So I
Yep.
start studying. He's very successful. Like he's super busy now. And then I start asking Chris, do you get any referrals from our network group? He's like, not really, Jason. I don't really have too much referral from them. However, I get a lot of referral from different channels, different people, different circle in my church and all that stuff. But I noticed Chris is like super, like almost on the top of people keep referring like people to different trades. Like even myself, I get a lot of referral from it. So I found this man very
Mm.
interesting. That at a subconscious level, he probably never rep broad profit, but he give out a lot. He refer a lot to help people solve the referral problem, and it came back to him naturally. It's amazing, man. So that's how it works, man. You gotta give.
I heard a sermon from a pastor, and before he became a pastor, he was a businessman, and then he started the nonprofit, and then the nonprofit just became his ministry, and he talked about giving and giving and giving, and as he got older, he got more into the mindset of basically all his wealth. He had a shovel, and he was shoveling out his wealth and putting it out to other people, and he was trying to just everything he had. He felt it in his spirit to give it out. But what he found was that God had a much bigger shovel. And as he was shoveling out, he was getting things shoveled back into his pile. And so his ministry
Yeah, you
just
see that?
grew exponentially. And I've seen it in myself. And it's so counterproductive because we're also self-interested. At least I am. I got kids to feed. I got a business that I want to be successful. I want
Right.
everything I do to be profitable. I want to make money. I want to achieve this status. And you become so self focused that you don't want to help other people unless you can see how that's going to come back and benefit you. But what you're saying is that that mindset in and of itself is limiting the amount of influx that you could be having if you were just more focused on serving other people.
Exactly. And yeah, this is like a really good cycle. Just the more you become selfish, the more you try to calculate what kind of return you get, the less you're gonna get back, man. That's how it works. But that's a rule, though. Okay, Matthew. A lot of people use it wrong, and then they kill their life. They create an imbalance. So I'm saying it's very good to help people, right? But you never want to go out of your way to put so much stress on yourself to help people, or putting stress onto your family member or friends around you to help people, okay? Because when you do that, you cross the line of the balance. And then when you do that, it actually is hurting yourself. The energy is not balanced, man. So I truly believe, we all have something good, like, a talent, or we good in certain things. So your gift, your skills, your talent, use those to help people. And then it'll be easy job for you to just, help people what you're good at, right? Because if I tell you try to wire a panel for me, that kind of help is gonna put you to stress, right? But if you're just gonna give me some help about advice on how to take care of lawn or mosquito, that comes easy, right? It doesn't take a toll on your energy level, but you're actually giving me still a lot of help. So that's the help I'm talking about. Do the help that goes with the flow and the current. Don't go out of your way, go nuts, and it's gonna create disaster for yourself, yeah. And then you're gonna feel
Oh,
bad
that's
when
huge.
you return, yeah. So that's the art to help
Yeah.
people too, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great because so Patrick Lencioni talks about the working geniuses, and we all have six working geniuses, and well, we all have out of the six, we have two that are our working geniuses, we have two that are our working competencies, and then we have the final two are basically our working failures. So if I have to do something that's in my working failure, it's
Right,
consistently depleting and poking holes in my cup.
right.
Whereas my competencies, I'm maintaining. But if I'm doing things that actively are fulfilling to me, it's filling my cup. And I could see that in the same way of serving other people. If I'm just doing it out of a sense of desperation and there's no rhyme or reason to it, I will get burnt out. And I can see how the balance gets
Oh
jacked
yeah,
up.
it's gonna turn up pretty fast, and then you stop complaining, questioning. Say, man, I'm helping people. I'm giving everybody. I'm lending money out. How come no good thing happened to me? Because you did it wrong, my friend. There's a right
Wow.
way and a wrong way to do it. Yeah. So that took me some time to figure out the right way of helping people. Yeah, that's an art too. Yeah.
What's some of the dude, I'm so curious to hear your opinion on this. What is some of the funniest things that you've seen people do as they're either in networking or trying to build their business?
Oh boy, man! Don't get me started. We talk about that the coach guy with the hard sell. Don't ever fall. Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you, man. Don't ever fall into the hard sales pitch. A salesperson, man. You guarantee to turn people off and fail. But I nobody ever learned how to sell, right? Including myself. In the beginning of my career, I just talk about benefit. Oh, if you do this, it's gonna be great for you. It was not like that, man. It was a lot easier than what you guys think. It was less strategy, is more of my focus on the energy, where your initial impression on people shouldn't be not even a product information, anything, it's just yourself. Like, how you should be focusing. How am I gonna make this person feel good after he talking to me? And
Wow.
then now, if you could answer the question, have some basic strategy, and then you should ask the next question: how am I gonna blend, like, benefit this person from what I'm providing, my service or my product, and how am I gonna do it in the way that he doesn't feel like I'm selling it to him? It's called transfer of belief. How am I transfer my belief gonna benefit him? So that's an art. But the very first is the bonding, man. If you fail at the bonding, like, you don't even get along, you don't even like it, there's nothing to talk about, man. Forget about your service product, you fail. So that's why
Doesn't
when you
matter.
see me in the network, I never really talk about, like, hey, what do you need work on, like, and stuff like that. I'll just talk about friends, kids, family, things, whatever excites people. I think that's what it is. The excitement in life, the goals, the dreams, man. I love to talk about those are what sparks people, man. And when especially you could develop some common goals and dreams in life, you connect so well that the next thing you know, he needs something. It's so natural to just call you. You don't have to say anything. And when you say something, they believe you. They say, "Oh, whatever you say, I trust you because I know you're gonna do the best, for me." So that's how I normally get my clients. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge, man. And it's sad how many people get it wrong. I mean, we've all heard the phrase, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you
How
care.
much you can, yeah,
And
learn from childhood as well. Yeah.
man, I want to start listing names. I bet we could go down a list and just start spitfiring
Yeah.
names and just say, all right, stop it. You stop doing that. You need to change your strategy. and just be interested in other people. And it's about identifying problems and then how can I and what I have to offer in my expertise or just my capacity, how can I assist you and how can I help you? And I feel like if everybody was a little bit more like that, a lot more business would get done and a lot more people would be helped for
Yeah,
sure.
but the sad thing is like nobody ever taught them. So I'll actually find out myself, digging deep into the subject and realizing from observation what's right, like what works, what don't. I learned enough from the networking meeting for what not to do too. 40 people go up, only 3 or 4 catch my attention, so I know the other one fail, right? And then I learned from those ones catch your attention. Oh, they told a good story. They have good posture, they have good energy. So those are pretty cool. That kind of sharpen yourself too. It's like, man, I gotta make sure I don't do that because I'm gonna fall into those group that put people to sleep. So you don't want to be that person. Yeah, it's a lot to
Yeah.
learn, man. Networking is very
Were
fun.
you networking is funny, it's informative. I mean, there's just so many different people that are in the rooms. There's so many opportunities to learn and grow your
Yeah,
business, but also get a laugh because there's characters and certain rooms are definitely better than others. But
yeah, man.
it's a good thing to do. I'm curious because you embody a spirit of growth more so than most people that I interact with. Were you a good student in school, or have you found that you're just more of a, have you become a student of life as you've gotten older, or were you always this way?
Yeah, man. Ever since that Rich Dad Poor Dad opens up my mind, I start studying about like the spiritual stuff and everything else. So, and man, I remember Jim Rohn saying you want to be a student of whatever, right? But not a believer. So the difference is a student is constantly learning and they also verifying what they learn by practicing it and try to see it instead of blindly believe this is the way to go. I'm just gonna follow it.
Wow.
So if you keep questioning how I'm gonna do better, is this the only way? And oh, let me make sure it's gonna work like that. Let me try it a little bit, right? And then you verify, say, oh yeah, it works on this, but it doesn't work on that. So I'm only believe on this part what he taught and then the rest of the part I'm going to modify to make it work for my own situation. So it's not like one format of thing of will teach you the winning way. There's always something not working for yourself, but you got to be a student to study to verify to make sure it works. If not, you change it yourself. Don't just follow whatever 100% they tell you. I'm sure, like remember you got your franchise business, they teach you the format, the template business. You found a lot of things. Nah, I don't think I should follow 100%. I think certain things I should tweak it a little bit just to make it work for myself. So you become the student, not the believer of it. You become a student, try to make it better. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. And specifically in the franchising space, that's actually a really good talking point because people take that and they take it to both extremes because people who are too entrepreneurial do not make good franchise owners because they take the blueprint and the system that they bought and the brand and then they just take it and they run with it and do whatever they want to do. They try to change everything and they don't follow the system. And then they end
Right.
up burning out and failing. But then you have the people on the other end that they take everything that they've ever done in their life, their investments, their all their money, and they buy this franchise so they can be in business for themselves and they expect, well, they drink the Kool-Aid from the franchise development people on how amazing the business is going to be and all you got to do is just follow the system and then everything will be perfect, but it
Right.
just doesn't work like that. You have to add your own nuances. You have to be able to pivot and adjust. The franchise model is it's a blueprint. You're buying the blueprint, you're buying the brand, but you have to be able to build your own business based around yourself, your strengths, your people.
Yeah,
I've
yourself
never
first, man.
heard I've never heard somebody say be a student, not a believer, but I'm going to steal that, man. I love that.
You're free. I got a lot of things for you still, man.
Man, that's great. That brings me to my next, because you had mentioned coaching and mentorship earlier. What are some of the best coaching and mentorship that you have personally done for yourself?
Well, I'm really late starter, so far I only got I got coaching from a guy named Steven Beaver. You may have seen him. He dressed like
Yep.
in the Hawaii shirt. So you
Vacations,
know,
vacations,
yeah,
vacations.
what he say a lot of things really hit me really hard. He was saying, I remember when I was talking to him about like I overworked for a lot of hours working. So he started asking me, why are you working over hours, Jason? What's your goal? It's like I want to provide for my family, really give them the best life I could. He was like, well, then you gotta have a structure, cut off hours, and you have to make sure you take them on vacation every week. Because if you make money and you don't spend time with them, you're a failure. So it hit me so hard. I was like, oh man, I gotta restructure. It kind of really hits me really hard and stimulate me. Now I'm thinking on high level, how am I gonna work less hours, making the same money, and spending more time with my family as a success as the goal. That's a high goal, man. Making money is not that bad, right? If you pump in the hours by math, you tend to make more money, but you sacrifice your personal time with your family, so it's not a true winning thing, you know. So he stimulated like a lot of my thinking, and actually I did a boot camp session with him. He has a binder still here, and it actually is a format of like show you where you want to get to your goal. It's like step by step. But man, I felt so bad. I only followed like 5% of it, and then my business take off everything. I just lost focus. But if I really follow his stuff, man, there's no way you cannot go to it. It's just the discipline, man. It's so hard. The formula is so simple, but so hard to follow. You know,
That's how
to
everything is, isn't it? It's
yeah.
usually
No,
not complicated. It's simple. You just got to be disciplined. And it's one of those things
yeah,
that if you can make it more about creating a lifestyle of following it, even though you put it down for a little bit, you see the results that you could touch back up on that thing and level up, when you're ready again, So that's
yeah, man,
cool.
that thing is golden. It's almost like a Bible thing. Like it's guaranteed work on anything because it works on a principle, not a format of things. But I would tell you, man, the hardest thing for everybody in life is come up with the goal, the passion, the thing they really want to accomplish, but not affected by what people told them. It's like truly inside coming from yourself. I really want to do this. Really want to accomplish that. I really want to become the person to do this. Like nobody could tell you. And I gotta be honest with you, 95% of people just don't know what they want in life, man. Like if you ask them, like, what do you really, really want that will make you happy? And what do you have to become the person? What do you have to do? They were like, oh, I never thought about that. So I spent a long time, I spent years thinking about these things. So that for me, once I figure out my goal, my passion, man, everything follow the direction it brings you. But without that goal, you will do figure A, you circle around, you fool around. The next thing you know, you get old, you're still fooling around. You see a lot of people in the field, right? They keep changing jobs. They were doing this and that, and they start getting old, start getting better, and then they keep changing, and it's not going anywhere. I'm not gonna put out names, but yeah, you see that happen. That's because they're lacking of the passion, the goal they really want to aim for. So it's really important to figure that part out, and the rest of them will follow. That it's much easier than try to figure out how to get there without knowing what you want. Man, it's insane. It's like you go Home Depot and the people ask you what they want to buy. I don't know. I'm still looking for deals. Like what kind of deals? Well, what the hell you want? I'm not sure, but I just felt like I need to buy something, with
I need to
deals.
be
Yeah,
here. I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah. So everybody like, what the hell wrong with you, man? So it's the same with everybody in life, man. They don't know what the hell they want. So it's tough, but that's general guideline. You want to be happy, you want to be fulfilling, man, fulfilling your life purpose. That's what you should aim for. You want to be wealthy. You want to be making people around you happy. That should be your guideline to push you toward that goal, man. Never try to sacrifice those to get there, and if it's incomplete, you wouldn't be truly happy, man.
How important is it for people to consistently be working on their own spiritual health and spiritual growth? And why does it seem so hard?
Oh, because it's a paradigm we discussed earlier. Because everything you learn from media, a lot of time media, your friends, your parents, they have these fixed belief say, Matthew, you can't get rich doing franchise, man. Like I never know anybody done that. This is hard, man. There's a lot of things you don't know about. But it's to you, it's not, man. You have to willing to explore the opportunity to see what's possible for your life, man. So a lot of time I think this is important. Every few days you should have some self reflection on what you're doing. Am I happy in my life? Am I doing something every day that contribute to make me become the person that I want to be? If not, can I change it around? Can I just do little change? Not big change, because nobody can do big change. Can I just change things around? At least become a more positive, more creative person, more friendly person. So, on the path that everything will be smoother, because more you could attract more friends and people to help you to achieve what you want. So that's why I told you I don't listen to radio. I don't listen to much music. I spend a lot of time to think about these type of things. And the more
Do
you
you
think
have
about this, strengthen, you could get your mind.
do you have specific things that you do to kind of channel your mind in the right way and not drift? Or is the drift kind of what you're looking for?
Oh yeah, man. So like me and you, right? We all get distracted from emotions, from daily events and all that. But I recently learned from this guy, Joe Dispenser. So he's an amazing guy. So I think we have to remind ourselves every morning, or during the day, or at the end of the night. You're gonna ask that question. Say, am I doing my best today? Did I put in my best to be the best version of myself that I wanted to? If not, am I going to do it tomorrow? What can I do to make it, to make sure I did the best for myself? Because when you did your best, man, you felt great, man, regardless of the outcome. And normally, when you did your best, your outcome is always better than you didn't do anything. So that's being the best version of self is very deep too. If you think about it, man, what do you mean by being the best version? Being the person you really want to become. And then when you start thinking about, yeah, I could do a few things to change. I could be more caring. I could be asking more questions to help people and all that stuff, man. That the self reflection awareness is super important, man.
Man, yeah, I think when we oftentimes we think of the best version of ourselves and we get that confused with the most successful version or the version that has the most money. And you said it earlier, one of your mentors said to you could be rich in money, but your kids hate you, and that would be absolutely terrible. And there would be
Yeah,
no wealth and there would be no um, fulfillment in life. I heard I believe it was Dan Sullivan in Gap in the Gain. I don't know if this is his quote or if he took this from somebody else, but it went along the lines of the true embodiment of hell. Like the way for us as humans to truly experience hell is in the situation where we come across the person that we could have been and then realize the gap and realize the difference and realize what could have come from our lives if only we had done the little things on a consistent basis, if only we'd been disciplined, if only we cared about other people more and we weren't so internally focused and selfish and were willing to sacrifice. And that was, mind blowing for me because I find myself struggling with that all the time.
right, right. And then you develop the self awareness. Once you realize it, you constantly try to work on it. You see that's your big difference where a lot of people don't even know it, right? They just
Mm,
live their life 9 to 5, do their thing, and never see any growth in life, man. I think that's number one killer, man. Not seeing growth, it wasn't even about money or anything, man. I think lacking of the growth. I think Tony Robbins talks about, and we deep down ourselves, you kind of felt it. If a year went by, Matthew, you feel like you didn't learn much, you feel something's not right, man. That's the growth that we're all seeking for. We always want to be more fulfilled, and that ties into our talent as secret gift of diamond. Like how much you polish your diamond today or this year. Did you see growth? If you don't see that, you feel bad, man. I've always felt guilt that I didn't fully use my talent. That's why, I try to be like really remind myself, man, I try to do my best today, man, whatever I could. If I see a stranger, I try to make him happy. I'll come with some creative jokes, always, So I make people laugh a lot. I try to do that, use my gift, making the restaurant waiter, waitress, the manager, everybody, everywhere I go.
How have you been able to scale and get out of the business? And how has it been scary or difficult to do so?
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. Obviously in the beginning, it's just I work by myself, and then and it was so overwhelming. I gotta do all the actual work. I gotta make schedules, sales, estimate everything, and then I hire a guy. He's really capable. He's a high producer. I call him the eagle. Jim Rohn say you don't hire chicken and train them to be eagle. You hire the eagle. He knocked out the work for you. So I got one of those guys. Really awesome. The only thing is like everything else. There's no perfect people, right? The communication part was a big thing that I actually need a couple years to figure out a perfect way to communicate with him to make sure the workflow is right. So now I finally I spent a lot of time on it. I figured out a way to communicate well with him, but also want to be the best boss I could. Right, try not to overwork him. Just give him whatever 4 to 6 hour work the most instead of 8 hours. So because if I work for someone, that's why I want to be treated, man. Just be fair and all. Like if he did enough work to create profit, leave him alone. I don't want to squeeze him max like orange making orange juice. That's bad, man. You burn people out. That's another
You burned
big
them
thing.
out.
Yeah, trade people used to do that, so nobody want to work for anybody. Anybody would keep jumping around for higher pay because that's no healthy cycle there. So I create a really healthy cycle where I'm very good friend of him. We talk about everything in life. He learned a lot about my spiritual stuff, and and we both have a lot of deep respect for each other. So he's pretty much will do the best he could, like seeing my vision, try to do our best for a client. So I come to a point that I could find jobs that is well paid enough that he don't have to work full day, and I could still make a decent profit, and he's happy with his pay. So I think that is the my next level is to duplicate that to have more capable electrician like him with a really high level communication. So that way I don't worry about jobs on site. He just handle everything, kind of like your crew, well trained. So I could keep duplicate like a monopoly, getting one, two, three, so I could start multiplying the stream of income. But I think, like you said, I still have to go back into the EOS system, really understand structure of things, because I'm just good with the people, but so many things I'm missing. Forming a company, how to make it sustainable and make it grow on its own. So I'm still learning and trying to do well. But at least on the people part, now everybody around me seems to be quite happy. So I think that's a good foundation to build up, build from being good. Because I see a lot of big companies making good money, everybody's miserable. I don't want to be that CEO. I want to be CEO. People say, "Yeah, Jason is coming in. Let's go have a chat with him." He will tell us dirty jokes. So I want to be that CEO, not like to be uptight one. Say, man, he's coming for a meeting. Shit, let's go get the report ready. I don't want to be that person, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. There's a book. I think the name of it is The Three Things That a CEO Does, and the three are creates the vision, they cater to the people, make sure that they have the right people in the right seats and the right bus, and then culture. And really, as a CEO, those are the three things that you've got to focus on. I was listening to a podcast this morning. It's Donald Miller's Business Made Simple podcast. He had Seth Godin on there, and Seth Godin wrote Purple Cow and a whole bunch of stuff. But he's talking about a lot. They're the issue that most self-employed, solopreneurs, freelance, tradespeople, the mistake that most of them make is when they're trying to scale their business, they end up just hiring lesser than versions of themselves so they can just duplicate themselves from the work side, but to they forget the fact that they need people on the team that are smarter than them in their weak areas, not just people that are competent in what we're good at, but better than us in all the other stuff. And they have a hard time scaling and getting bigger because they
Right.
never bring on and take the time to bring on the right people. And so you had
Wow.
said to hire the eagles and not the chickens. And that immediately made me think of that because I think that we look at chickens and I can manage a chicken. I can manage a whole bunch of those guys and tell them what to do and outwit them. But an eagle is intimidating, right? Like they might be better than me at other stuff, and
Yeah, yeah, the guy's
that
better
might
than me. What, man?
that might cause me to put on the brakes. But in reality, those are the ones that we should be going after, right?
Yeah, yeah, but obviously it's more challenging, right? How if a guy had more skill than you, how you gonna make him respect you, right? Because he was like, oh, I know more than this dude. Why am I gonna listen to him? So he was start having doubt on the ability. So that's where it comes to communication. First of all, you try to be good friends, and slowly you gotta be capable of telling stuff, like showing him stuff you don't know, like that he doesn't know. So now he has a respect for you. Oh wow, I'm good at my stuff. I'm faster than Jason and all that, but there's a lot of things I still couldn't surpass him. That's why he's my boss. So that's another thing. Like you don't want to be just that boss that just tell people what to do, but you don't improve yourself. Because they're not gonna be respecting you, because people respect people with high ability than him. It's probably a different field. So that's what it is. You always gotta be on top of your game. So that's why I think the guy that worked for me knows that he can't get jobs in quick enough like me. That's why it's working for me, right? And that's an art to that. That's hard work, which you don't see behind the scenes. So that's how I gained the respect. So that guy had nothing to say. He's like, oh wow, he's my boss. He deserves to be my boss. And I'm gonna work hard for this guy. He treat me fair and nice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to say towards building partnerships with people and building up a team. And I'm of the mindset now that I will give as many pieces of the pie away as I can if that means the pie is just going to get bigger. If I can
Right,
make the
right.
pie bigger, I will give as many slices of it away because we're just increasing our slices.
Yeah,
If my 5% slice is bigger in 5 years than my 100% slice now, then why not? Especially when I can cater to what I'm actually good at myself, and that's people, vision, and culture. I've got so many people that are better at me than the stuff on my team now, and there's a lot more peace there. It was
yeah,
definitely scary.
man, that's a noble way, the right way to grow, man. Where when you grow, you bring the people grow together. Not like, oh man, I make more money now. Now I'm gonna invest in that stuff. I'm gonna cut down. You start neglecting the people on your team. That's what kills them. Like so now you
Mhm.
realize, that you're willing to. You're very generous. Say, hey man, if I grow, I don't mind giving you more. I don't mind giving you more benefit because you can help me achieve a high level of growth, and it's gonna be win-win for both of us instead of just me win, you lose, man. Yeah, one person win, the other lose. That's a failure too, man. That's very sad. I see a lot of business owners have that. They make good money, but man, their team is miserable. Everybody want to quit. That's not good company culture. Yeah, that's not good leadership. Yeah. You're right, Matthew, man. Just try to be the
It's
best,
tough.
right? Like people happy around you, because it would be so easy to scam everybody, be rich, man. But you be lying to yourself, man. You're not gonna be happy at the end of the day. Your
It's
son's not gonna
not
be proud.
sustainable. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not sustainable. And again,
No.
if you have the opportunity to bless and to build with others, I feel like that as humans, that's what we're called to do in our own way anyway. So we're naturally going to feel more fulfilled. But we just have to be disciplined with the people that we bring on.
Because not necessarily the people who bring in is bad people. It's just they're not suitable for whatever you want them to do, or they go into a stage of life, they're not in the best condition, ability to handle the work to achieve that mission. Because a lot of people will say they want to work for you. They don't know what they want. Say, oh, if you offer me a decent job, I'll work for you. But then they didn't have the vision, right? They didn't want to give the excellent service to be the best version of themselves. They don't see the need for it. They don't even know they need to do that. So that's hard, man. Like you could probably spend a year trying to change them, but why? Like if you could just bring a person that could understand, have a deep level understanding what we both all want to achieve, and just go from there. Yeah, because it's tough to try to coach everybody. You're not. we're not psychologists or therapists, man. We're not. We don't want to do the extra work for no reason. Yeah, it's better just find the people with that ability, with the character. Yeah, the mindset. It's much easier. Yeah.
That's always been hard for me. I am naturally inclined to mentor and to try to coach. My background before getting into business ownership was being a teacher, being a life coach in a nonprofit school in the inner city. And it wasn't until I read Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, two Navy SEALs, and then
Yeah.
they wrote Dichotomy of Leadership after that. And I think it's actually in Dichotomy of Leadership where they talk about the difference and the need for mentorship, and when do you mentor and coach somebody, and when do you fire them as the leader of the team. And there's a very clear line on your role as the leader to mentor somebody, but when it becomes the point of that person needs to be removed from the team, whether it's competency or their effect on the culture, you have to do that immediately and as cleanly as possible, because when you don't, it just creates toxicity and a
Right.
cancer with the rest of the team, and it's dangerous. I mean, you think about the context of
Others,
a
yeah.
Navy SEAL, but in your business, it's dangerous. But a lot of leaders are afraid because, again, what we talked about earlier, they don't want to create an uncomfortable situation. They want to be nice when really
Yeah.
holding somebody captive who shouldn't be on your team, who would be better serviced elsewhere. You're doing them and you a disservice for not catering to that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's something I gotta work on. I'm not good at confronting because I always want to be the peaceful guy, just to make everybody happy. But like you said, man, if it's not working, man, it's like a bad relationship. You have to end it now or later. Later you pay a bigger price. Yeah, that's something that's a big lesson. Yeah, that's something we all need to implement and to remember it for sure. Yeah, remove the one that's not gonna be suitable for your position. Yeah, that's tough stuff.
In in your life, um, how has loss and failures or pain, how has that helped you relate and work with other people?
Uh, so I see pain. I see pain and failure slightly different. So pain is something actually motivate you, man. Like, because you don't want to fall into that category, feeling the pain, but failure. I think failure is actually a big. It's a huge lesson for me, man. Like you said, failure come with negative emotions. You always get affected when you fail. But if you really could calm yourself and step back, develop awareness of seeing the event, just the event. So the reason it fails because something's not right, but you're in that position. You couldn't pull yourself out to see the whole situation. That's why you fail. And the reason we couldn't pull ourselves out from the God views eye of seeing things is because our emotion attached were so bad. Like you would constantly, I have these moment think, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Why is it not right? It's that person's fault. He didn't say the right thing back to me, or he didn't confirm the appointment. That's why we couldn't finish the work. But it was not like that, man. It was in a high level. If you're willing to step out, I start having a very clear vision. Say, man, what could I have done to avoid that situation? But first of all, I gotta calm myself and don't judge that person too much because if I'm judging it, I put the responsibility on the person, and I don't have to change. It's easy, and nothing will change. But then if I taking up responsibility, say, you know what? I definitely have some part of it. I didn't do it right. I just to figure out which part. Let me step back, man. Let me step back to look at the situation. Let me step back A and B, looking at interaction, and slowly I think, man, you know what? It is possible the person misunderstood me from saying this thing. I just have to put it
Mm.
in careful writing in my terms, in my estimate. So there's no guarantee. There's no assuming or misunderstanding because everybody has a different understanding of level. I think that's what created conflicts. You assume I'm going to do that, but I assume you know that I'm not going to do that. So we just don't say anything about it. And then that's how it fails a lot of time. Yeah, so that kind of really teach me a huge lesson, man. How am I gonna go really detail into something, especially before a job start, before when I make the estimate, how I be so super clear. Every day is covered, and there's no room for him to wiggle. Say, "Oh, you're supposed to do that for me," but but you didn't mention. So, but I said, no, 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 go read the estimate. They say that, on the bottom. So everything is listed out. I said that's gonna be extra charge if certain type of situation happens. So that the failure is a big thing, man. Actually, failure is the biggest teacher of life, man. And you know what's crazy? If you don't learn from what you failed, it keep coming back and create a pain. And these two are the teacher disguise, in so they will come and teach you the lesson. So you will suffer until you figure out how to improve yourself. And then the
Wow.
teacher goes away and different teacher comes in. Now different teacher, different kind of pain, different kind of lesson. Now they're gonna be right there for you. So it's so crazy. You hear people come and say, I can't understand this. Why is this guy keep doing this? Like, dude, this is a lesson for you to learn. You just have to figure it out. Just calm yourself. Stop complaining that person or that company or that event. You just have to step back, figure out what you can do to fix that. You have to understand why this thing happened and how it's happened, and then what you could do and are you willing to do to make it, to make it work. So the lesson will stop coming to you. I'm sure you catch a lot of these life lessons where it's like, man, it kept happening, man. I had to put an end to it. And so now you start analyzing, how this thing happen, man? You know what, man? I'm gonna try a different way. I think this way got a high chance. Eventually, you come up with the right solution, and all of a sudden this is no longer a problem. It goes away, it doesn't bother you anymore, and then the next thing will come in. It just keep coming in, and it comes in the rate of what you want to achieve. Let's say you want to be here, that's gonna be those failure lessons all waiting for you to come in to like take an impact on you, see if you handle it or not. Failing forward, yeah, man. Failing forward, like John Maxwell talk
Failing
about, man.
forward.
Every time you fail, you gotta keep going forward, and you're supposed to learn something enough to make you a little better, so you could keep failing forward to get where you. If you keep just failing without getting up and staying in the same spot, you're going backward, man. You're dying, bro.
Man, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse,
Yeah,
right?
so grateful you failed. Be grateful you had pain. Be grateful you had problems. These are gonna make you a better person, more skillful if you figure it out.
If you figure it out, if you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the
So
level of awareness.
yeah, so I start thinking very deep. I say, you know what, man, all these problems and pain, they're gonna go away if I have that higher skill set and mindset to handle them. So I no longer blame on any other thing except myself, my self-control, my emotion, my discipline. That's all I need to work on. Once I change this, the outside world will change. Yeah, the inner world and outside world, man. That's the thing, man. Change the inside
Man,
world, the outside world will change. Man.
man. Oh, I can't think of a better place to like drop the mic. So I have one more question for you, and then we're gonna hop off, but we're gonna definitely have to do this again because this
And maybe,
was amazing and a lot of fun. I appreciate you so much for this. I can't express it enough. But here it is. At this point in your life, in your business, what is the next thing or event that could happen where you could take a step back and, maybe in the future and say, whoa, when that happened, I just leveled up. Like, at this point, what are you looking forward to now or striving towards that would show you that next level up?
yeah, so now I'm working on my company vision and my end game, the end vision, how the company look like. Because once you figure you have a good vision, you start projecting to the people who work for you. So my next step is to really scale up with the team, right? Because with the team, you achieve much more. Single person is hard to get there. So yeah, I think working on company vision and making sure, like you said, hire the right people that would just plug into that position. And once they're in place, I can multiply and just grow into the vision, and then the company will start taking off, running on its own as long as you maintain a good a leadership and a company culture. And that's when I'm going to move to my ultimate passion, which we talk about next time. Yeah, yeah,
There it
yeah.
is. All right. No, that's
But the
great,
process
man.
too, man. You gotta enjoy the process, right? All these things don't think like it's suffering, man. It's a part of experience to strengthen you. So don't have the negative mindset. Say, shit, I gotta wake up early to do that. Be grateful you could wake up early to do that, right? So that's
The
what it
gift
is.
is the journey in and of itself. That's where all the rewards are, the journey and the growth that we experience.
Journey, man. The
Man,
journey is important. Yeah.
well, Jason, this
Thank you,
was
my
awesome,
friend.
man. Yeah, thank you so much. This was a masterclass in energy, in spiritual health, building your awareness. And I just got to say, as always, stay streetwise. Peace.
Okay, thank you. Beautiful.
This was a good episode, man. I appreciate Jason Liu for coming on. Man, this guy is just a gem. I mean, you could tell from the episode, he's got a lot of wisdom. He's got a lot of experience in his craft. And I think it's amazing what he's doing in his effort to build a business and build something special. I think key takeaways from this episode are, and you can really tell when somebody actually cares about you as an individual in your interactions with that person. You can tell based on the energy and the things that they're putting out. We have to be so cognizant of what our inner motivations are and what is driving our inner energies. Like, what is causing us to do the things that we are trying to do? And if we don't sit back and study ourselves, we really will miss that, and we'll miss something important. And not only does that hurt the connections that we make when we, go out there into the world, but it limits our ability to grow in our own spiritual sense and physical sense, and just across the board as a person, as a business owner, as a student, as a spouse, as a parent. If we don't take the time to study ourselves, but also study other people, that was part 2 of what I took from Jason. I mean, he studies thought leaders and he makes intentional effort to grow himself. And I think that is huge. And then lastly, we're going to talk about this a lot, but it's the importance of replacing yourself in your business. Don't get so caught up doing the skill, doing the thing. Jason is a certified, trained electrician. He is amazing at what he does. There are very few people in the DFW area that can do that craft better than him. And here he is, bringing on other people onto his team to represent himself and his brand, to go out there instead of him. They might not be as good. But in order to build a business, it's what you have to do. If you can get somebody at 80, 85% capacity of your 100%, that is outstanding, because guess what? If you think that you can do all the things that you're in your business and you can do them well, you're lying to yourself. When you're juggling things left and right, and you've got a lot of tasks going, things going on all at once, you might be a 97, but you're operating at a 68, a 72, a 40, in all these different areas, that if you could get somebody to come on and work at an 80% or higher on all of those things, and then you can see it from a macro level, from a bird's eye view, and you can coach them up and make them better, and then your mindset is now shifted to helping and mentoring the people on your team. Wow. I feel like saying the sky is the limit is like an understatement. This was a great episode. There was a lot of value here. I feel like these types of conversations encourage me to get better at this podcasting thing, because I feel like the quality of the show doesn't match the quality of the content. But you know what? I always will say, progress over perfection, and I am very confident in my ability to bring in people and have conversations that add value to myself, and therefore they can add value to other people too. That's what this is all about. So I hope that this is helping somebody, anybody, but at the end of the day, I learned so much from the act of doing this that it makes it all worth it to me. I have nothing to sell right now. I am doing this because it's making me better, and I really feel like it's going to make a lot of other people better too. Tupac was quoted as saying, "I might not change the world, but I guarantee I will spark the mind that changes the world." And I tell you what, a lot of the stuff that he was putting out sparked my mind. It did. And I hope that this content here sparks a lot of other minds as well. And with that, all I have left to say is stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise.